Tikka masala.
Oh, it's gonna be so cold. It's gonna be so cold. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Whew. Hey, what's up, everyone? This looks a bit deeper. Alright guys, so I've camped here at Lana Manalaga. My voice is getting a little bit wheezy. I'm gonna try to sleep a little bit early so I can wake up early and hike around Lana Manalaga before I head out again. With that said, I'm all cozied up here in the camper van. For now, this is Alan. See you in the morning. So, my voice is recovering a bit, but again, I've just been chugging warm, hot tea any chance I get. Just found this sea stack or rock kind of in the middle of nowhere, and because it's only surrounded by like the black sort of sandy beach, it makes it stand out a lot more than if it was placed any other place, I think. That obviously makes it a much more interesting subject for photos or video. So I went ahead and hiked all the way out there just to get a few shots with the camera and the drone. Other than it being a bit cold and a bit windy, the environment here is just gorgeous. I'm gonna go to my camper van and we're gonna find a campsite for the night before our next adventure. So, Tagil, highly recommend you swinging by if you got a camper van, you want to do some hiking, spend an entire day here. It's so worth it. It's just such a beautiful place. The campsite's great. One of my favorite places in Iceland, definitely. I do have a question for you guys. Do you just like slice the yolk and eat it like that? Or do you like slice all the egg whites and then you scoop up the egg yolk intact? Which way do you do it? There's only one right way, in my opinion, which is you cut like the egg whites and then you keep the yolk and then you scoop it up, right? There's only one right way, guys. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. I really do want to know if anyone does that differently. Apparently, Lisa, my partner, did it the other way before she met me. And I could not accept such a transgression on the holiness that is the egg yolk. I think we're good. I'm gonna wash up. I'll see you guys. I'm all red. What the hell? I'm all red. Probably from all the heat. Anyways, time to leave. Thank you for a dip, Iceland. Thank you for a dip. Mm-hmm.